The have-nots have had enough, and now they're out to kill the king of what looks to be an evil empire, where short-term earnings mean everything. There's a pressure to deliver here. You're gonna get hurt if you don't play this game. Nobody will ever know, just the CEO to the CFO. If you can work some magic, we'll double our paychecks, make the numbers look right. Wall Street is a ruthless mistress with a quick and painful judgment. Temptations in deep now, threads of greed run through this fabric, weaving tapestries over your eyes to prepare the landscapes for disaster, anthrax or a plane crash, biochemical or even nuclear attacks.
Hello, today is August 29th, Thursday, and this is another podcast edition of RadioBravery. I'm your host, Justin Bellshaw, and we're going to make this as quick as possible, go through a few articles today. It's going to be a bit shorter of an episode than yesterday, so let's jump right into it with starting off that song bringing us in was by Rocky Vodolato, a native musician from Seattle, Washington. He's awesome, very nice and local. Definitely got some great points, definitely a minimalist. He's an awesome dude. I've met him many times. Check him out, Rocky Vodolato. So let's start off with this first staggering article by Natural News, and this is by Lance Devon. And this is actually involving Natural News writers themselves. This headline reads, Natural News writer targeted by police asserts his rights, threatened with violence, and dragged from car. On August 18th, Casey, Illinois police pulled over a Natural News writer and his wife suddenly. They were pulled over because of a driver's vehicle, his taillight, one of his taillights was out. With the driver's side window slightly rolled down, the driver complied with the officer, handing over his driver's license and insurance information. After obtaining the information, Hanley ran the ID in his squad car and then called for backup. Now, obviously, he was targeting the driver. There's no need for backup for an out tail light. There's no need for backup at all in this situation, unless they felt violent or threatened or the person was intoxicated or, there are very few number of reasons why you might call for backup in a situation like this, but absolutely, obviously, there was no reason for backup otherwise, or other than targeting the driver and in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of people, targeting a journalist. This has happened more and more recently with, look at Andrew Breitbart, Michael Hastings, two dead journalists in the past few years. So after obtaining the information and getting a backup officer there, they began intimidating the driver in the dark, questioning him about drugs and alcohol. The driver dismissed the questions, and the officers grew angry and suspicious. Clearly, there's reason to be angry and suspicious when you just want to defend your rights to not have your car searched. This is where a minor light bulb offense turns violent. In a very hasty and intimidating voice, the engaging officer demanded the driver step out of the vehicle. The officers wanted in, shining lights in the back seat. Not wanting to have his privacy invaded, the driver asked the officer why. The officer grew angry and demanded the driver get out immediately. The driver then asked, "Am I being detained?" Not consenting to the search, obviously. Neither of the officers would answer any questions and quickly went into a rage. The backup officer reached inside the window of the vehicle, unlocking the vehicle door, and pulled the door open. This is absolutely a constitutional violation. There's nothing else that needs to be said. Fearing for his life, the driver pulled the door to keep it closed because he had not consented to a search of the vehicle or consented to any type of physical violence, which was about to happen. He felt threatened, and he held the door closed. With the door halfway open, the backup officer, Brent Clapp, then wielded a nightstick and threatened to bash the window in the driver's face. This is when the driver slowly handed over control of the situation to the officers, and the officers dragged him out of his vehicle violently. The driver was instructed to put his hands on the car as his body was searched and under his clothes and inside his private areas. During the violation, the officers interrogated the driver further with questions about where he was from, where he was coming from, and what kinds of drugs he had in his car. The driver replied honestly and was shut down and mocked with every answer he gave. Trying to find a reason to arrest the driver or search his car, the officers made him submit to multiple field sobriety tests. The driver passed the test, keeping his cool. Even after showing no signs of impairment, the driver was then issued a breathalyzer test. Meanwhile, one of the officers opened the passenger side of the driver's car and interrogated the rider's wife, profiling her and taking her license. When the results of the breathalyzer came back as 0% BAC, that's 0%, and this is after numerous other sobriety tests beforehand, finally ceased their profiling and humiliation of the two innocent law-abiding citizens. They were left to go with no charge and let back into his car. At flexyourrights.com, that's flexyourrights.com, lawyers advise drivers to stand up for their rights even when police threaten to abuse them. This will not deter police from abusing your rights. It will most likely make them angrier, but when you assert your knowledge of your rights, your stance can be then upheld in court and be protected by the Fourth Amendment. By stating, Am I being detained? Am I free to go? Or I do not consent to this search, officers are forced to think twice about abusing your rights. So this is a landmark case that is a shining example of how police are treating people who try to assert their rights nationwide right now. So this is one more reason, one more example of why we need to stand up for our rights and why we need to help educate people who do not know their rights in situations like this. Please check out naturalnews.com and help support this writer in his fight against this case. Next issue I want to get to is from the Tribune, and this is the Herald Tribune. And this also has sources that include the Associated Press and Yahoo News, and it's currently linked to Drudge Report and Infowars.com. So this has become quite a big article, and it's entitled Mosques Declared Terrorism Organizations by NYPD Report. The label has allowed the department to spy on imams and record sermons without having specific evidence of any criminal activities going on in those mosques. So now this declaration by the NYPD makes it legal for illegal spying, well, gives reason for the police to illegally spy on any mosque because they are declared terrorist organizations. This is a violation of American rights. This is a civil violation. This is a human rights violation. This is a constitutional violation. We need to stand up for this and make sure that no one is allowed to declare a mosque or a religious area a terrorist organization. That is an absolute joke, and it is an infringement on the freedom of religion. Next article I want to get into, I'm just going to briefly cover it because it's got over 20 pages in this article. And it's, this is an article from Freedom Outpost, and the title is 252 Documented Examples of Barack Obama's Lying, Law-Breaking, Corruption, Cronyism, etc. And it goes into quite a few examples of things, documented things that Obama has been doing that is breaking law, lying, corrupt, and absolute crony capitalism. So let's check out just a few of these examples, and you can go and check out this article yourself. It's on Infowars.com right now, and you can also check it out at the Freedom Outpost. First thing, Obama carried out military interventionism in Libya without congressional approval. In June 2011, U.S. Congressman Dennis Kucinich of Ohio, Democrat, said that Obama had violated the Constitution when he launched military operations in Libya without congressional approval. Obama gave a no-bid contract to Halliburton just the same as George Bush did. In May 2010, it was reported that the Obama administration had selected KBR, a former subsidiary of Halliburton, for a no-bid contract worth as much as $568 million through 2011. This is a one-year bid, a no-contract bid for $568 million, just hours after the Justice Department said it would pursue a lawsuit accusing the Houston-based company of using kickbacks to get foreign contracts. Obama has an administration chock full of lobbyists, as he spent his whole campaign promising he wouldn't have any lobbyists or take any money from any lobbyists. While running for president, he promised that, unlike Bush, he would not have any lobbyists working in his administration. However, by February 2010, he had more than 40 lobbyists working in his administration. 40 lobbyists. An absolute joke. Obama has close ties to Wall Street, but pretends to support Occupy Wall Street. The truth is that he has raised more money from Wall Street than any other candidate during the last 20 years of presidencies. In early 2012, Obama held a fundraiser where Wall Street investment bankers and hedge fund managers each paid $35,800 to be exact, to attend. In October 2011, Obama hired Broderick Johnson, a longtime Wall Street lobbyist, to be his new senior campaign advisor. Johnson had worked as a lobbyist for J.P. Morgan Chase, Bank of America, Fannie Mae, Comcast, Microsoft, and the oil industry. Let me just go over this one more time. In October 11, Obama hired Broderick Johnson, a longtime Wall Street lobbyist. This specific Wall Street lobbyist has worked as a lobbyist for J.P. Morgan, Chase, Bank of America, Fannie Mae, Comcast, Microsoft, and the oil industry. Another absolute joke of Obama's presidency. Let's wake up, people. This guy is a tyrant. He is a lobbyist. He is funded by lobbyists. He is funded by oil people. He is funded by Comcast, Microsoft, Bank of America, J.P. Morgan. This is an absolute joke. He broke his promise on Guantanamo Bay, promising to close it. It's still open. Obama supported a $700 billion TARP corporate welfare bailout just like Bush. Obama waged the biggest war since against medical marijuana of any president, which is the opposite of what he promised. And I'll just go into a little bit of this. In May 2008, Obama campaign spokesperson Ben LaBolt said that Obama would end DEA raids on medical marijuana in states where it's legal. Also in 2008, Obama said that he supported the basic concept of using medical marijuana for the same purpose and with the same controls as other drugs, and that he was not going to be using Justice Department resources to try to circumvent state laws. However, in February 2010, DEA agents raided a medical marijuana grower in Highlands Ranch in Colorado, a state where medical marijuana is legal. Also, in February 2010, DEA agents raided a medical marijuana dispensary in Culver City, California, a state where medical marijuana is also legal. In July 2010, the DEA raided at least 4 medical marijuana growers in San Diego, California. Also in July 2010, the DEA raided a medical marijuana facility in Covelo, California. Then, in September 2010, the DEA conducted raids on at least 5 medical marijuana dispensaries in Las Vegas, Nevada, where medical marijuana is also legal. These are shining examples of lies, and manipulation. Hitler did the same thing, Stalin did the same thing, Mao did the same thing. Every tyrant lies and hides under the cover of lies and does something different. In 2011, the DEA conducted raids on medical marijuana establishments in Seattle, West Hollywood, California, Helena, Montana, and all places else where it's been legalized. In April 2012, the DEA carried out several raids on medical marijuana establishments in Oakland, California. In February 2012, Rolling Stone magazine wrote that Obama's war against medical marijuana went far beyond anything undertaken by George W. Bush. So let's just skip ahead. Let's skip ahead to something different, because there are hundreds of examples of the medical marijuana raids that are going on right now. Obama nominated a 6-time tax cheater to head a government agency that enforces tax laws. Obama nominated Timothy Geithner, a repeat tax offender, to head the government agency that enforces tax laws. Prior to Geithner's nomination, he had illegally failed to pay more than $34,000 in Social Security and Medicare taxes, illegally declared the cost of his children's summer camp as a form of daycare, illegally declared non-eligible items as charitable deduction, illegally declared something which was ineligible as a small business deduction, and illegally declared utility expenses which had actually been for his own personal use. These are all things that Timothy Geithner was being charged with while he was nominated by Obama. Obama also has given tax dollars to AIG executives, then pretended to be outraged about it when he signed a stimulus bill that spent money on bonuses for AIG executives. Prior to signing this bill, Obama had said, "When I'm president, I will go line by line to make sure that we are not spending money unwisely." However, after reading line by line and signing the stimulus bill that protected the AIG bonuses, Obama pretended to be shocked and outraged at the bonuses and said, "Under these circumstances, it's hard to understand how derivative traders at AIG warranted any bonuses at all, much less than $165 million in bonus extra pay. Although he signed on to this bonus extra pay." Absolute jokes, jokes, jokes. It is a joke. Obama supported Bush's unconstitutional Patriot Act by re-signing it into law in May 2011. He increased the national debt in one term, more in one term than Bush did in 2 terms. Obama agrees with Bush's support of unconstitutional warrantless wiretapping. Obama has avoided prosecution of any Wall Street criminals. Obama has had 4 U.S. citizens killed without judicial process. He has ordered a private company to fire 1,000 employees in 2011 after Boeing had hired 1,000 new employees to work at its new factory in South Carolina. The Obama administration ordered Boeing to shut down the factory because the factory was non-union. So this goes on with hundreds of more examples, so we can't spend all day talking about this. Please check out the 252 documented examples of Barack Obama's lying, law-breaking, corruption, and cronyism. Please check that out at Freedom Outpost or Infowars.com. It's a very, very important article. We need to get that article out specifically to anybody who supports this tyrant president, and we need to help wake them up on finding out exactly what he's doing and exactly what he stands for. Next article I want to get into is from naturalnews.com. It is J.D. Hayes, and this is entitled, written by J.D. Hayes, Cops Nationwide Stealing Cash, Jewelry, Valuables from Innocent Citizens Under Civil Forfeiture Laws. And I'll just read a bit into this, and I'd like you, everybody, to go and find your own information on this. This is a very important matter. You need to check out your local civil forfeiture laws on this subject. It is absolutely crucial that we do not allow this to go on anymore before cops actually become even more of criminals and decide that it's okay to raid our houses and take whatever they want. If you've never heard of civil forfeiture laws, you're about to get an eye-opening education. What's more, you're going to be disappointed that far too many local police departments, maybe even your own, are using these laws to rip off innocent citizens and help fund their own operations. In a recent lengthy piece by the New Yorker magazine, Sarah Stillman described in detail how these laws have been abused by police agencies all over the country to extort money and valuables from people whose only crime was traveling through their jurisdictions. The basic principle behind asset forfeiture is appealing. It enables authorities to confiscate cash or property obtained through illicit means and, in many states, funnel the proceeds directly into the fight against crime. In Tulsa, Oklahoma, cops drive a Cadillac Escalade stenciled with the words, "This used to be a drug dealer's car, now it's ours." In Monroe, North Carolina, police recently proposed using $44,000 in confiscated drug money to buy a surveillance drone, which might be deployed to catch fleeing suspects, conduct rescue missions, and perhaps seize more drug money. Hundreds of state and federal laws authorize forfeiture for cockfighting, drag racing, basement gambling, endangered fish poaching, securities fraud, and countless other misdeeds. In general, you needn't be found guilty to have your assets claimed by law enforcement. In some states, suspicion on a par with probable cause is sufficient enough. Nor must you be charged with a crime or even be accused of one, unlike criminal forfeiture, which requires that a person be convicted of the offense before his or her property is confiscated. So, in general, you needn't be found guilty before your assets can be claimed by law enforcement. Every year, federal and state law enforcement agencies seize millions of dollars from civilians during traffic stops simply by asserting that they believe the money is connected to some illegal activity and without ever pursuing criminal charges. Needless to say, a number of legal experts can see no intrinsic constitutional applications for such laws, and yet they are used constantly by law enforcement agencies in a manner reminiscent of cops in third world countries. Let's see. We won't get too much into this. Go to naturalnews.com, read more into this, go talk to your local police, do a little research in your local communities and find out what your local civil forfeiture laws are. This is something that needs light shed on it. I don't think there's a lot of people really nationwide that know about these laws and know about what's going on with them. Lastly, I want to get to a positive note. This is another naturalnews.com article by Ethan A. Huff, a main staff writer at Natural News, and it is entitled Michigan Right to Farm Act, a shining example of a law that supports small-scale farmers. And there's not really much that needs to be said about this. This is a great article. If you go to naturalnews.com, you can find this article, and it has links to the actual Michigan Right to Farm Act, which is a bill that protects small-scale farmers, local sustainable food system growers, people who want to have chickens in their backyard. This is one of very few states that has bills like this enacted to protect small-scale farmers. And we need to all try and adopt a bill like this in our own local counties and in our own states. So please go to naturalnews.com, check out this article, check out in your own area trying to get one of these bills adopted, a Right to Farm Act for your local area, and start farming on your own. There's no reason why everybody cannot grow their own food and have their own animals on their own land and be fully sustainable. We should all be like this. There was a time when we were all like this and we weren't all dependent on the government. So go to naturalnews.com, give Mike Adams a round of applause, go to infowars.com, pat Alex Jones on the back, check out Drudge Report, pressfortruth.ca, wearechange.org. Go out, learn some more, do a little educating of your friends. Get that article out about the 252 documented examples of Obama's corruption, crime, and lying. We need to get this guy impeached. There's also a website, overpasses.org. Everybody should be going to that and doing their own activism and protesting to help inform people about why Obama should be impeached. Also, right now, an article that I didn't get a chance to get to, maybe I will be able to tomorrow. There are over 100 articles of impeachment on Infowars.com for reasons to impeach Obama. Over 100 articles of impeachment for Obama on Infowars.com. Go read that article as well. Just more shining, bright examples of what a absolute douche Obama is. So let's get this douchebag impeached. Let's move on with our lives. Let's take our country back and let's move forward. This is the end of your Thursday broadcast of Radio Bravery. I'm Justin Bellshaw signing off, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. This is Kevin Devine bringing us out with another bag of bones.